What is that pose? Oh my god, Bob. You're my favorite in this game. Oh my god. This is so romantic. All four of them make the perfect man. Whoa. You wanna sleep with me? Why are you grabbing my hand? Welcome to Don't Hit the Cashier. We work at a gas station that services otherworldly creatures like kings, vampires, really hot vampires. And that's not all. We even service the devil himself. Or at least I think that's him. He's still cute. Must be a relative. If you want to find out what happens to us during our shift, I suggest you watch this video till the end. Trust me, you won't wanna miss it. Sometimes I really wonder, how did I end up here? Not that I dreamed of a career as a neurosurgeon or an astronaut, but for crying out loud, working at a gas station, on the other hand, money is money. I sent out resumes to every conceivable and inconceivable place, applying for every position where I could somehow use my degree in art. 0 responses. I had to swallow my pride and find at least something. Human organism wanted for work at gas station. Organism's duties include selling food for mouth, silence and obedience, household tasks, obeying those who are more ancient, friendly team offers, new and old faces of friends, long and different life consumption of nourishment, juicy juices, trips to human places. I found this note stuck to the glass of the bus stop. Food for mouth? Seriously? The guy's got a style of his own. Apparently, the manager is just an eccentric dude. Or is this their new marketing tactic to grab attention? Whatever, people often told me that I have my quirks too, and that's even if they haven't seen my fursuit. Well, whatever, as long as he's not a complete jack who'll hit on me or make me scrub the floors with a toothbrush. Ew! What is that? Why does it have many eyes and tentacles? I didn't scream, I couldn't move. 8 tails, is that you? My brain feverishly tried to find any category for this in its database. Hallucination? Psychosis? Too many energy drinks? A typical middle manager? The monster from my nightmares stirred, its tentacles crept closer to the counter. My God! The creature made a sound, not from a mouth, it had none. The sound emanated from deep within its bulk, hollow, profound bone shaking. Bob. Greetings, organism. I am Bob, the indescribable and terrifying consumer of worlds. But you, grain of sand, may call me Manager Bob. Why would you call me grain of sand? No. This isn't real. I'm dreaming. I need to wake up. You will sell food for mouths and obey me, for I am ancient. Memorize the rules of this establishment, for my patience is as limited as the salary I offer you. Rule number 1, you sell, no matter what. Chicken food for the mouth, gremlin fuel, noodles made from cast souls, lottery tickets for extra limb raffles, discount rot, ritual foil, everything must be sold. He points directly at me with that creepy, slimy tentacle. Too many eyes. Every miserable unit of currency brings me closer to my triumphant exit from this pitiful hole. I pinched myself but didn't wake up. Rule number 2, be polite to customers. Ignore bald spots in werewolf fur and watch out for drafts when ectoplasmic and energetic entities are in the store. What? But don't let them get too bold. Customers are just walking containers for currency, and they should only pay in monetary units. Payment in existential dread or hair of the dead is not accepted. Many of them come here just to chat because they're idle and purposeless organisms. Your task is to make them part with their currency anyway. It is also your duty to heal organisms if they are injured using special kits. They die, they can't give away currency. Werewolves, ectoplasmic entities, and what the hell are you anyway? Aha! It seemed like all the jars with mysterious contents started to shake because of my despair. At last, a human being who knows the proper greeting protocol. Your vocal outburst demonstrates a high level of respect for the hierarchy. Your predecessor, Kevin, just mumbled and unsanctionedly excreted tear fluids. Werewolves and ectoplasmic entities are just a few examples of the many insignificant life forms that frequent this establishment. What unites them is that they're all slaves to consumption, just like your kind. What universe did we even walk into? Is this normal? Do humans and monsters coexist? Or, as for my nature, I am your immediate supervisor and the guarantor of your future financial prosperity. I'm at a gas station for monsters. I got a job with Cthulhu for minimum wage. This is all you need to know. That really is all I need to know. I fear any more knowledge will surely drive me insane. For the first time, something resembling approval flickered across Bob's many-eyed face. A rare and unexpected display of the grains of wisdom that have not yet left the human species. Embrace your ignorance. Let it become your shield and a direct path to the status of Human Employee of the Month. And what does the Human Employee of the Month get? A cash bonus of 25 cents.
Bruh.
25 cents? What's that gonna do? Come on, Bob, do better. I understand that you, human, are already extremely excited about this, but that's not all. You will also have access to the elite manager's restroom for one full work cycle. During its use, there's only a 7% chance that you will be transported to a dimension of endless pain, suffering, and unimaginable torment. This does not sound like a good deal to me at all, Bob. Truly generous. He suddenly places a jar in front of me on the counter. And the last rule, remember organism, this tip container must be filled with the money by the end of your week cycle. If the bottom of the jar is visible, you will clean the sanitary rooms with this object in the dimension of absolute horrors and suffering for 2,510 years. I couldn't take my eyes off the fork, the potential tool of my eternal servitude. At this moment, my mind fully capitulated. Yes, I was hired by a multi-eyed cosmic architect squid. Yes, my clients will be non-humans. Yes, I'm being threatened with a fork and eternal toilet cleaning. How could anyone clean anything with a fork? The same will happen if you even think of escaping before the end of your work contract. My ocular sensorium perceives the subtlest of matters. It will detect you in any corner of this beautiful planetary sphere. Crap. I'm stuck here, I'm in a trap. Do you understand organism? Yes, sir. Acceptable. Goodbye, organism. Good luck in your currency, acquisition, and button pressing. Yes, I think I can handle this perfectly. Adequate. Your willingness to fulfill your work duties deserves my emotional approval. Human entity, you're acceptable. Speaking of human entities, don't forget to check out my video on how to date an entity and stay alive. I promise you'll enjoy it. If you expect a monetary reward instead of an emotional one, you need to immediately reconsider your moral compass. Greed is a highly condemned trait for a human organism. This concludes the briefing. You've shown a tendency towards excessive vocalization, so I'll give you a warning. Do not raise your voice at visitors unless they like it. He didn't turn around as a human would. His tentacles simply shifted his entire mass in another direction with a soft gurgling sound, and he waddled across the linoleum. Finally, he left me alone. The silence of the gas station was broken only by the hum of refrigerators containing juicy juices and the buzzing of the neon lamp above my head. I stood in the same spot as if rooted to the ground. My breath returned to me in a sharp and even gasp. My hands were shaking. The tip jar, which I needed to fill to avoid ending up in a dimension of ancient horrors, still stood proudly on the counter. Okay, so what just happened? Option 1, I've gone insane. That's the most logical conclusion. Prolonged stress from job hunting, malnutrition, nerves, anxiety, a disrupted sleep schedule. My brain just malfunctioned. Yes, that's it. I'm going to wake up on my couch in my dingy rented apartment. I pinched myself again and nothing. I scanned the room once more. It smelled of gasoline and old coffee. It was still absurdly real. And that meant everything he said, it was all true. Werewolves, vampires, tips, the fog. A hysterical mix of laughter and a scream of terror welled up in my throat, but I held it back. I needed to get through this. I needed to... The lights went out? Oh no, don't tell me that's the first customer. Bells, what the hell? Where's your face? Where the hell did this clown come from? It took great effort not to look away from those red eyes burning in the pitch black darkness. Is he amused? Is he wondering if I'm tasty? Bob didn't exactly give any guarantees that I wouldn't get devoured at work. My brain, still recovering from the encounter with Bob, was frantically trying to figure out how to break this ringing silence. Good evening, sir. What would you like to purchase? Oh, okay, he's cute. Purchase? I would like to purchase your attention. Ah, stop it. I suppose it's free. Make a wink, but only for you, sir. For me? Only for me. You spoil me to receive such an exclusive treasure, released in a limited edition. I feel like a king, although am I not already a king? No matter, I've never felt more regal than I do now. Well, I accept this generous offer, but a deal requires balance, doesn't it? In exchange for your attention, you shall receive mine. Hooray! My God, another crazy person with a strange way of speaking, and it seems he's in the mood for a chat. So, what is a beautiful, charming lady like you doing in such a dreadful, dirty island of misfortune? Or rather, what is a place like this doing with such a charming lady as you? Stop it! Oh, wait, where are my manners? I suppose I must introduce myself. I have many names, most of which are not fit to be spoken in the company of a lovely lady. The nicest I've heard is the Mad King, a title I plan to pass from me to myself for the coming century. However, my mortal mother named me Deiran. Now may I have your hand? Offer him your hand, obviously. He suddenly bows his head and presses his lips to my knuckles. What? Yes! Meeting you is truly a pleasure. His lips are cold, yet a ghostly warmth spreads across my skin. So here I am, dealing with a real gentleman. How lovely, or a king as he calls himself. Of all the kings and emperors locked in their soft chambers, this one has probably found a way to escape. May I know your name? I don't immediately realize he's asking me a question, still in a daze from that gentlemanly kiss. My name is Rice, sir. Let's keep calling him sir. Oh, my dear Rai, you're so polite. Hopefully he'll reward us. Or punish us. He seems to savor my name. It sends shivers down my spine. And that politeness again, as dry and bland as the rations I give my soldiers. The most creaky of all the decrees I've signed. And I've signed decrees that require people to weave ropes from sand just for fun. Mostly mine. Polite people never risk anything. No friends, no enemies. How is that interesting? Imagine how wonderful it will be if we became enemies. This will be the most interesting few seconds of your life. Or friends. Then it will be a delightful eternity. Or lovers. He likes that. He blinks once, twice. What a delightful little twist in our script. He's blushing. Haha. Did they just fluster him? Oh, look at him staring directly at us. My sunshine, you burn me. Such bravery to flirt with someone who can turn your bones into licorice with a snap of his fingers. Is that a promise? He's so flustered that he's shifted to a more informal tone. Well, well. I feel like my brain is turning to jelly. Actually, it's not all that bad. Maybe I've just been spoiled by all these mangas about sinister and tragic monsters. Though the only tragic thing about this client so far is his tragic unwillingness to buy my discount route. So, let's finally get to the purpose of my visit. Finally. It's completely unknown to me. Oh, for crying out loud. There's nothing interesting in the assortment of this pathetic shack, except for you, so I'm buying your time. Let's have dinner. I'm sure you must be hungry. Oh no. Allow me to create a more pleasant atmosphere for us. I'm shivering from a gust of icy wind. He just teleported half of my gas station to a radioactive dump, or a radioactive dump to my gas station. And the jar is gone, my freaking jar! Ah! Put it back the way it was, and the jar! You really don't like change, do you? But life is ever changing. Life is not a stone, my dear. Life is water. It flows with the current. But since you don't like this current, so be it. Let me find something less populated with mutants. I can't go long without familiar landscapes. Already ruined lands make me melancholic because all the fun has happened without me. Disgusting. Allow me. This is something seemingly less radioactive. Amazingly, I haven't thrown up yet. It feels like I've been flushed twice through an interdimensional toilet. I clear my throat. Seems like I'm sitting at a table. Much better, wouldn't you agree? Ew, is it a frog? Yuck. Couldn't be better. It's beautiful here and strange. Is this your home? Words of a true poet. My two favorite categories, strange and beautiful. This place is much more than a home. It's my cage and my greatest canvas for creativity. Every ugly tree, every mud toad, every eye-bearing mushroom, it's all a piece of me. A marvelous place, except when the rocks grow legs and start running. I want to see that, including those that people make their homes out of. And now you're a part of this place too. Isn't it wonderful? I'm slowly getting used to the landscape. The fireflies here are quite charming. But it'd be better without that frog with a human face. The frog notices me too. It lets out a sad croak and then looks at me with an expression of deep existential despair. Point at the frog with the human face. Who's that? That's Laurie, one of the brave souls who dared to challenge my authority, my dear friend, who once walked the path of adventure. However, he didn't foresee the possibility of being turned into a frog on a whim. He even tried to wield a sword with his tiny froggy legs, fought to the end, a true warrior. Now, however, his foes are mosquitoes and bigger frogs. Tell me, dear, does it bother you? His little existential froggy crisis, I mean? Is it ruining the ambience? Yes. He looks at me with an interested expression. Yes, please, disintegrate him. A lady's wish is my command, an exquisitely straightforward solution to a little warty problem. Say bye-bye, Laurie, or don't. No one understands your croaking anyway. So, dinner, I'm sure you must be starving. Traveling between realities must be exhausting. This looks strange, but it smells delicious, made with honey. And next to the meat, a purple soup, possibly made from a less fortunate cashier. Whether the food is poisoned or not, if I refuse, His Highness might turn me into a frog too, so I pick up a fork from the table. And this is the most delicious thing I've ever tasted. It's 100 times better than these cheap instant noodles I usually buy in supermarkets. Even the fact that I'm currently in some other universe surprisingly doesn't seem to harm my appetite. It seems you enjoy our cuisine. My chefs have always managed to cook well, on these occasions when I noticed it. I assure you, you won't regret this dinner, at least not for the first half hour after the meal. Yes, thank you, you're very kind. I'm merely hospitable. I'm delighted to share a meal with that dear guest who clearly appreciates good food. But I suppose cheap Chinese noodles would make you appreciate anything. Please, eat your fill. And don't hesitate to stash what you don't eat in your pockets. It will give you an exquisite aroma and provide a few interesting mysterious stains. I poke at the food with my fork and watch the peculiar scenery from the corner of my eye. A silence hangs between us that might even be called cozy, while I and our heavy narcotics. What's your favorite animal? Glad you asked. It's right here on our plate. Just kidding. But I do need some time to think. Let's see. The riding flea has its own charms, very disgusting ones. Carnivorous butterflies are beautiful, but they're dumb and noisy. Carnivorous butterflies? I never heard of those. I'm gonna have to look that up. And as we know, only what's empty inside makes a noise, or what's in my head. It's always ringing. I think it's a dog. It loves its owner with all its heart, whether they're a saint or a serial killer, and doesn't notice the difference. It lives in a constant, joyful state of blissful ignorance and misplaced enthusiasm. A creature that finds endless joy in the utterly meaningless. It's truly inspiring. Dogs are the jesters of the animal world, and I adore them for it. Especially the small, wrinkly ones. And what about you? Cats! I love cats. To them, we're probably the jesters. Oh, indeed. They are the true rulers of this reality, tiny furry gods of apathy and disdain, and we are their obedient, foolish caretakers. But I've been lucky enough to escape their tyranny and instead enjoy my own and feed those around me. I return to my meal, and just as I chew another bite, I hear His Highness's voice. By the way, how does the meat taste? Is the human flesh tender enough? My fork freezes halfway. Why the hell is there human flesh on my plate? Bravo! Righteous Sangha is a wonderful seasoning for any dinner. Come down, my beautiful, furry. It's just a little joke. It's just venison, as far as I can tell by taste, not very intelligent. It's definitely not Timmy, our carpenter, who unexpectedly disappeared near the large kitchen cauldron, perfectly sized to fit in it. Definitely not. I've personally issued several decrees related to cannibalism, perhaps even concerning its prohibition, but that's beside the point. I rarely have visitors, and I'd like to tell you about other interesting guests. After all, it's the most fascinating thing I can share with you. For a place where mushrooms with eyes grow, it can be incredibly dull here. Shadows in the clearing thicken and start. They detach from the gnarled trees, rising up from the ground like black ink, and spread across the wall. Dancing and intertwining, they prepare to perform at their master's whim. Behold, this incredibly crooked castle, my dear. Crooked to the point of absurdity, sadly. In reality, its curves look far more aesthetic, but give the creator some leeway for expressiveness. Many brave and not so bright souls have tried to conquer this terrifying, dark, eerie, crooked castle. So many that it became even more crooked. You see, the dreadful monster living there never liked being distracted from its important duties. Terribly important duties, like having long, deep conversation with its own reflection, or concocting recipes with raisins. So far, the scariest thing in this story is the presence of raisins. Yes, you do understand. They're a real horror, aren't they? Tiny, shriveled bits of deception. They pretend to be sweet, but they're just made to ruin. They ruin lovely cookies, ruin family photos. They have no place in civilized society. Oh, how I understand them. The monster was a tyrant, a menace. He sowed chaos and disorder, mostly on purpose. He had countless opportunities for creativity and wasn't afraid to use them. He made some people believe they were pigeons and others that they were grains. He wouldn't allow his best servants to have windows, fearing that the moon and both suns would get envious and want to take them away, and he demanded they seal the gaps in the doors well. He locked wizards who came to him for magical gifts in a giant laboratory and promised them power if they invented a kettle that could boil everything except water. Did they eventually invent the kettle? Invent it? Oh, they did much more. After 11 years of failed prototypes, a few explosions and chemicals running away on their own legs, they succeeded. The kettle could boil even bright memories, but not water. Water would instantly freeze, explode, and file for divorce. I immediately rewarded them with a new invention idea, a cup with a sealed top and without a bottom. Let's see how they handle that. But I digress. But behold, a ray of light in the dark kingdom, the first hero, Salori the Righteous, in all his clanging self-important glory. He took a knee to rest briefly because the weight of his righteousness was bad for the health of his poor back. Following rumors spread by the same monster, he fought his way through the monster's loyal subjects too. By the way, where did he even find them? Most of my subjects are too busy contemplating the color of suspenders for their suspenders or lamenting their fate. I cherish them in their imperfection. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They were probably the most restless of them. Every story needs minions. In any case, our hero descended into the Grotto of Despair, the Grotto of Tentacles. Imagine the most sinister name you can conjure. The Grotto of Despair sounds about right. Indeed, it's a place where one can so wonderfully despair. Let's not get sidetracked. Into the Grotto of Despair, our hero descended to retrieve an artifact capable of defeating the Monster King. The Ring of Incredible Power, a bit shoddily crafted, but I assure you, it looks more aesthetic in real life. However, the brave knight didn't know what the incredible power of the ring lay in its 444 pounds weight. That was its only magical property. The only incredible thing about this ring was its incredible stupidity and uselessness. The realization that he had spent weeks of his life on a divinely heavy paperweight, and the sudden crushing thought that he should have become a baker instead of a hero, just to get some sleep. Well, it broke his poor noble mind. Not that this mind was ever intended for serious burdens. Whoa, that is shade. Yes, to hell with your night. A bit of gloating, a touch of delightful, deserved cynicism. Oh, splendid. How wonderful that we shared this dish together. So the night perished. But then, along came Elmer Eagle Eye. They say he earned his nickname by escaping from an enemy fortress. On the third day of his captivity, he noticed that his prison cell was lacking the fourth wall. A notch of legendary skill who tried to kill me with a precise shot, constantly, during breakfast, while bathing, at balls, during sleep, and even while I was devising a plan to get rid of him. The audacity. I hate just killing them. Turning them into madmen is much more fun. And I bestowed a little curse upon the elf as well. I made it so that every time he drew his bowstring, he'd hear the most annoying melody to his ears. Elmer was a terrible racist. He hated dwarves, so naturally the melody became the national anthem of the dwarves, played in a loop by a bagpipe orchestra. The pure rage it provoked derailed his aim every time. Eventually he stormed the castle, dropped his bow, and begged for a job at my court in exchange for changing the song to anything else. He was desperate, and I was a villain. Everything aligned incredibly well. Now he's my royal huntsman. The dwarf march is replaced with a lively elven sea shanty. And let no one dare accuse me of being callous and heartless. Now he has a salary, good food, clothing, entertainment, and a full guarantee of non-dismemberment. You missed the opportunity to change his dwarf national anthem to dwarf serenades. Where were you before? Hosts, odds and comparisons to long stalactites, endless rhymed verses about the shine of a beloved's beard. It's a refined devilish thing. Why didn't I think of it myself? To torment a man not with sounds of one patriotism, but with the clumsy, heartfelt caterwauling of a species he despises, turning a love song into an instrument of pure heart-wrenching agony. Brilliant. Well, I'll steal your idea for the future. And finally the witch, in a classic giant hat, and a witch who could easily fit another witch. She tried a different approach, seduction. She attempted to charm me to gain my trust to become my spouse, a fatal miscalculation. She didn't consider the fact that I never trusted big hearts, or people, especially when both came hand in hand. And those who wear suspenders and a belt at the same time, a person who doesn't even trust their own pants, certainly doesn't earn the trust of His Highness. Then again, I don't trust His Highness either. I don't trust myself, especially the left side of my brain, especially on Thursdays. But back to hearts. I hate big hearts too. You are my kindred spirit. Those hearts are so pretentious, so self-assured. They block the view, get stuck in doorways, and always hint that their wearer is compensating for something. Usually lack of magical talent or a pitiful personality, and that's on a good day. You, my dear, have impeccable taste in headwear and consequently in everything else. It's a scientifically proven fact. Meanwhile, the witch is quite overt in her murderous intentions, jingling with all her concealed weapons. Why does a witch need so many hidden blades? She must have been very bad at witchery. In any case, she now resides in my dungeon, and you see, I haven't decided what to do with her yet. Her fate is a blank slate, a story yet to be written, so I offer you the pen. I simply adore random choices. Give me yours. What punishment benefits her? What? Does he really want me to decide what to do with a real person? Can I even save her? And does it matter what I choose? Everything here follows his whims anyway. But as long as I play the circus monkey, I have a chance to get out of here alive. Maybe I should just entertain him? Damn, what should I do? Turn her into a heart, a small one. The one who lived by a big heart shall become a small heart. The irony is so absurd, it's beautiful. At least he likes that. So be it. Let her be a small cape of eternal regret. She tried to get into my head, and now she can barely cover it. A brilliant sentence. Something's missing from this tale. You never told me about the monster itself. It's him, obviously. Dear, who cares about these monsters anyway? I do. If monsters are the mark, then I'm the pig, you see. How eloquent. All right, I must admit, this will be my first performance like this. Deiran sounds a bit bewildered, it seems. Allow me to just toss my mind up and see how it lands. You see, the monster was originally much more modest and less majestic, but we all have to start somewhere, right? Then my head suddenly became a bit crowded. First whispers, then arguments, then full-fledged discussions that had to be participated in and involved inanimate objects. He looks like a cat, not even human. Or an animal, a raccoon? Guests in a jar, doors, closets, even in cookie jars. Every container potential foe, and I was surrounded by containers. To be fair, sometimes they told funny stories. But why was I afflicted with this curse? Pondering it drives me mad, even more so. It seems the question is meant for me. Did you touch a cursed artifact, maybe some ring of yours? Dear, I'm afraid you've confused cause and effect. It's I who drive rings mad, not the other way around. Any poor innocent artifact I happen to touch might start screaming uncontrollably or trying to ask those around it about the meaning of their lives. No, I'm afraid it's a bit more banal. It's all about rotten blood, too pure, I beg your pardon. My great-grandfather issued a decree forbidding death from old age, and a distant aunt believed a colony of sentient mold was living in her walls, claiming her inheritance. But I always thought that I would be spared this fate. I had to be temporarily isolated to avoid embarrassing guests at royal balls with the young prince pointing at noble lords and saying, "Haha, the gnomes finally got out from under my bed." What a misfortune for the entire family, except for those in line for the throne before me. My death would have solved many problems for my family, and indeed many of my own problems too. I made a decision. We made it, to be precise. There was already a whole council of us by then. However, chaos had other plans. A god, a goddess, a cosmic clerical error. I don't know. Something ancient and terrible bored found itself a new source of entertainment. It offered me a throne, my own corner of reality to rule, where the fragments of my mind would become the laws of the land. No more restrictions or pants for my subjects if I wished. My subjects at first, they disagreed, but then they came to terms, or their minds changed to fit the new realities. And here I am. A dramatic silence ensues. Perhaps I am the first being to hear this story in the centuries of his existence. I must choose my next words carefully. So you're still in a cage? It must be rather lonely here. No cages. More like a playground with surprisingly silent infants. But I don't blame them. I have the best shovel. It's no wonder I embarrass them so much. Or maybe it's because I love to create explosions. Tell me, have you ever been exploded? Or no, don't tell me. Let it be a surprise. Do you really sympathize with someone who dragged you into this dimension to tell silly stories and feed you purple goo? People never cease to amaze me. Touch his hand. Following a strange impulse, I reach out to his hand resting on the table. His gaze slowly follows my movement, lowering to our hands. This time no commentary. Instead, his thumb begins to trace patterns on the back of my hand with surprising tenderness. The shadows finally dissolved into nothingness. I just turned a living being into a heart, or rather, became the catalyst for it. I wonder what kind of nightmares are warranted in such a case. I'm afraid royal duties await me. Our time is up. I shall send you back. Leave a tip, please. I rise from the chair. Whoa! And suddenly I feel him press against my back. Yes, Daddy! One of his hands gripped me just above the crook of my elbow, while the other gently rests under my chin, tilting my head back until my ears just a couple of centimeters from his lips. But don't think for a second that this is goodbye. It was merely an overture. His voice, usually so mocking and calm, now sounds eerily sinister. A cold thumb lightly strokes the line of my jaw. Oh, this is so hot! I try to suppress a shiver. You're a very interesting, incredibly curious guest. Possibly the most curious one I've had in centuries. And I've found that I don't want our acquaintance to end here. It's terribly unfair that you've learned a couple of my secrets and revealed so few of yours, isn't it? I can't tell whether he's flirting or threatening, both perhaps. A bird trapped in a cage of bills, failures, and endless anxiety. How high could you fly once the cage is open? Your shift will end, the sun will rise, and you'll want to head home, perhaps on something more elegant than a bus, maybe in a carriage of polished bones. We will meet again, very, very soon, and next time, I won't let you go so quickly. Ah, tie me up! Please tie me up, tie me up. I squeeze my eyes shut. The light is blinding even with my eyes closed, so unusual after all this darkness. The jar is full of money, it was all worth it. Ah, I got a tip. Greetings, organism. How's your work progressing? I see the first transaction is successful, acceptable. This still doesn't save you from the threat of cleaning sanitary facilities, but it's a wonderful starting point for your entire tiny life. Even more than successful, the client tried to fill the entire station with the money, probably due to extreme affection for your organism. Unfortunately, the terms of the intergalactic treaty do not allow such actions. Tips exceeding the amount set by the council by approximately 1949-39, 3000% were disintegrated to my great regret. What? To my regret as well. So a mad god from another world likes me. In some sense, that's possibly worse than not being liked at all. Work is going well, sir. Excellent. Maintain this level of productivity. You may be rewarded with an additional 5-minute feeding break if you can find food. Rejoice in my generosity. That's not generous at all. Continue working. I am experiencing a positive emotional reaction. I am proud of you, and I will be even prouder if you acquire even more currency. Goodbye, Mr. Manager. Your tentacles shine particularly beautifully at this time of day. Your comment regarding the shine of my appendages is noted, organism. The secret is a meticulous regime of polishing them with void. Bib, okay, slime. Goodbye. He slaps across the floor to his office. As soon as Bob's rhythmic wet slaps fade away, a deep silence descends on the station. One moment I'm in a surreal forest, dining on purple goo with a mad god. A god who liked me so much that he offered me a ride back to his world in a carriage made of bones. The next moment I'm being praised by a multi-eyed tentacled monster. Maybe these are all just my deathbed hallucinations. I'm going insane. Some part of me enjoys these mad adventures. I'm an adrenaline junkie. Disgusting. Now I have to deal with that too? In the midst of my contemplation, terrifying sounds emanate from my boss's office. Unfair bills, unacceptably large numbers. Of course, what else could upset him so much if not that? Steps. Another visitor. This one decided to come in through the door for a change. He seems unwell. I hope he doesn't knock over my shelves of shampoo with jojoba oil and delicate lilies on his way. Yeesh! What's up with him? He's missing half his face, he's bleeding. He's not just unwell, he looks like hell, literally. All the skin on the left side is torn off from his jaw to his temple. I swallow nervously. What kind of meat grinder has this guy been through? He looks like someone who could rip me apart if he doesn't like what he hears. I need to be careful if I don't want to become the next victim. Well, it's hard to imagine how the other fighter looks. He lets out a gurgling, raspy laugh. You don't want to know the other fighter looks. Like, oh, he can't speak perfectly. Honestly, I really don't want to know. My inner archive label, they don't want to know this, is at risk of bursting from overflow tonight. Words clearly come to him with great difficulty, which is probably not surprising for a man without half a face. He clears his throat, but that doesn't help much. I need blood. He tried to smile. It will be charming if he still had all the necessary muscles for that. Now it will haunt me in my nightmares, among other things. The client pauses again briefly to clear his throat. Let me see what we have. Yeah, good choice, babe. Step to the storage. Just in case. He suddenly leans forward, boring into me with his remaining eye. Is he compelling us? A vampire? Go and find me some goddamn blood. Go and find the damn blood. A strange pressure builds in my head, and the edges of my vision blur. An unyielding command blossoms in the center of my mind. I don't know why, but I feel an incredibly strong urge to find blood right now. My client is covered in blood but still hungry. Maybe he fought with something inedible, or is it his own? I found myself in a storeroom, a tangled labyrinth of shelves, reaching up to the ceiling, stuffed with boxes, crates, and mysterious cans. In the corner, something rustled and snorted suspiciously. So where could the blood be? I need to think fast. He's not going to wait forever. Right now, I'm at the very beginning of this crazy place. Go to the food for mouth section. These signs are driving me insane. I really hope my manager will eventually learn English properly. I'm surrounded by pure madness of anxious packaging, and even in front of the department entrances, there's some baby food for cyborgs piled up. I'm frantically trying to decipher the crooked inscriptions. In front of me are sections with food for mouth. Food afraid of heat. The coldest corner of the store. Large freezer chests and refrigerators with glass doors are covered in frost. Next to the frozen pizza are grumbling cryo capsules, and among the buckets of ice cream you can find flavors like minty tritium and liquid family. Oh my god! A huge freezer chamber. Spare parts of human organisms. This section reeks of formaldehyde and horror. Glass jars filled with murky liquid sit on the shelves where exhibits float. I try not to think about one of the containers holding a name tag that reads Kevin. Take blood of human organism, homeless, high content of cheap alcohol and tuberculosis. Yuck. The jar is sealed, but my eyes water from the smell of alcohol. Just what a cool guy in a leather jacket needs. May the Lord help him not go blind when he drinks it. He abruptly lifts his head as I approach. You? Already? His voice carries genuine surprise and clear relief. Well, good thing you aren't wandering around for half an hour. Bring it here. He downs the contents in a couple of big, frantic gulps. The whole liter practically disappears in seconds. A mad grin spreads across his face. I start to worry for a moment that he'll smash the jar against his head or mine, but thankfully he just whistles and slams it against the table. This is some revitalizing crap. I just drank some dumb liquid hangover, alcohol, amphetamines, cleansing fluid. It's like the dude has been chugging pure alcohol by the liters for years. He clearly lived his best life. He might have lived longer if he hadn't decided that drinking makes him invulnerable to the cold. He shakes his head sympathetically. I don't know where you got this, but it was the best thing I've ever drunk in my life. Stay silent. Nobody has ever praised me like this in my life. I don't even know what to think. Cool that you found human blood. Good job, you're sharp. Feel free to ask. He gives me a crooked smile from his newly restored rogue-like face. I'm going to wash my dirty face, don't get bored. While he's not here, I have a perfect opportunity to wipe away the blood stains. I'm just grabbing a pool of blood on my first day at work. An interesting story for Reddit. Reddit? A wonderful tale. I'm doing just fine. Nobody has eaten me. Oh, what? He looks so hot. I wasn't expecting this face. My God, give him more blood. He's looking so much fresher with the second half of his face, although his expression still resembles that of a constipated owl. How do you even know what a constipated owl looks like? I'll just stand here for a while, okay? Take a little break. Besides, there's nobody here with you right now. And just so you know, if you try to contact the werewolves, I'll take your head and crush it like a walnut. I'm David, by the way, a vampire, as you may have already guessed. What an incredibly interesting way to start an acquaintance, especially that part about the walnut. Nice to meet you. Okay. I knew a Rai once. She used to trade kidneys in Venice Beach. She was a good girl until she got packed up. He's trying to provoke me, deliberately sharing the dirty details of his life to see how uncomfortable I can get. No kidneys for you. Wow, I don't know how I'll survive this. Probably harder to survive this than working in this place. He struck a nerve. No offense, but I think I know every place in this city where you can buy a kidney. It's doubly crappy that I don't need them anymore, unless I want to sell them too. Now I have a vampire here and he's regenerating. Wonderful. The main thing is to not accidentally blurt out something wrong. I need to be friendly. Since when do vampires wear leather jackets? Don't you guys prefer capes and ruffles anymore? Ruffles? What the hell is that? I'm not Ruffles. What even is that? Some French insult? His expression is as if I suggested he wear a maid's outfit. He'll defend that one leather monstrosity at the cost of his life, that's obvious. Ruffles are not just a piece of clothing. They're a concentrated strike right at the core of his cool vampire persona. I don't wear any ruffles. I'm just 24 years old. No ruffles. David slightly grimaces as he moves his hand. Damn mutts. Probably not all the wounds have healed completely, and as being a vampire doctor fall under my duties. I think Bob said it was mandatory. Let me help. He looks at me skeptically. The offer of help is probably so foreign and unexpected to him that it leaves him momentarily dumbfounded. You what? You want to play nurse? Yes, daddy. Oh my God, look at that face. I want to touch you. A flicker of confusion is replaced by something more intense. It's just a couple of scratches and a little piece of ass that will grow back on its own. I'm fine. What? They ate your ass? Oh my God. What? You don't have an ass? These damn werewolves. You mentioned werewolves. It's probably not just a scratch. Let me try to help, okay? I gave him a chance to save face. Now we're treating him not because he's a wimp, but because he survived an epic battle. A direct blow to his ego. The guy immediately starts puffing up with pride. His eyes light up. Aha! I hope I didn't catch any rabies. I decide to remain silent about how he's already pretty rapid. 4 against 1 in a narrow alley, you know. There's a myth about werewolves being damn noble, unlike us bloodsuckers. Well, that's a load of crap. One of them was hiding in a trash can, ready to jump out at me. My heart would have definitely stopped dead. If it even still beat, it would have just ripped apart from a freaking heart attack. I'm afraid I'll never be able to take out the trash again without fearing for my life. Judging by that distant look, he's plagued by flashbacks of what he's been through. David awkwardly moves his injured arm. All right, hand over your first aid kit. I'm sure this won't be the last pack I'll have to take down. There are way too many stray dogs around these days. Damn you, go ahead. Get out your band-aids with Dr. Chocula or whatever you're selling. David sheds his jacket, shirt, and t-shirt, then settles on a squeaky stool next to the counter. He's about to face a serious trial, staying in a vulnerable position for a few minutes. For some reason, cruel fate hasn't made him claw-proof. He certainly looks like he was just thrown into a blender. Judging by those bullet scars, he has quite an interesting past. Or maybe he was attacked by werewolf cowboys with guns. Most likely the former. By the way, I didn't know that corpses have doctors too. I thought the only doctor available to me now is the coroner. I'm rummaging through the necromancy kits. that was sitting under the counter. It's a heavy military-style metal box with a faded label reading Kit for Alternatively Living Organisms. Inside, besides 2 standard bandages, there's some strange items: silver, tweezers, vials of thick, glowing liquid, additional fingers, and of course an instruction manual. A cheap laminated brochure stained with something that looks like coffee. In the instructions, the first point states, determine whether you are dealing with a zombie. Ask your alternatively living subject if they ever wanted to eat someone's brain. David is clearly not a zombie. Move on to the next point. He glances skeptically at the pictures, flashing in the instructions as I flip it over. Zombies, necromancers, abominations made of bones, flesh, and cabbage, swirl in front of his face like a mesmerizing kaleidoscope. And all of this lives in the city sewers. I don't know how you're going to use bathrooms now. It will be great if you didn't notice that. Why do I have to deal with all of this? I steal a glance at my visitor. I wonder if werewolves just clawed him up, or if he managed to kill someone too. My instinct, something out of the Stone Age, suggests that he could have. The guy has a killer gaze. You see someone like him in an alley, your hand automatically reaches for your wallet and phone. I lower my eyes. Next point, let's establish the nature of the injuries. What kind of wounds could werewolves leave? It's simple. You've got lacerations, claws, teeth, and a bit of saliva, possibly very contagious. David listens to this with the pride of a true soldier. Every word feels like a medal for valor. Something like that. He said it as if he didn't care, but I know better. Wounds from a real rabbit beast body. I'm dying of laughter. He chuckles happily, trying to hide a glimmer of pride behind humor, but I won't be fooled. David is no longer just a wounded sucker, he's a true gladiator, having survived a battle with rabbit beasts. Absolutely epic. I read through what medication I need and grab the regenerating extract for alternatively living life forms. Now all that's left is to apply this stuff. I dip my fingers in the jar and... Whoa! You wanna sleep with me? Why are you grabbing my hand? Suddenly he grabs my hand. Do something wrong and I'll rip your tonsils out through your ass. What's with your obsession with the asses? This is the second time he's mentioned ass. Do you have a fetish? You know, you have this fantastic talent for coming up with threats. You should write scripts for action movies. Well, I suppose it's just a matter of experience, probably. And you, well, watch what you're doing, or there will be consequences. It seems he just had the best compliment of his life. I apply this black goo to the wound. A puff of steam rises from the wound, and the air starts to smell like something is frying. It's probably very painful, but David remains calm. Not a single complaint, which is surprising. I hope it's not from your squid manager. Well, we all hope for that, buddy. Put a little more goo on him, restore some justice. My hand jerks accidentally, and a generous dollop of black goo splats right in the center of the massive wound. The hissing grows louder, and the smoke thickens. David grits his teeth. The tough guy is helpless. He can't tell the act of revenge from a medical procedure. The ointment punishes him for all his sins. Oh, he's healed up! I finish up. Surprisingly, the wounds really are healing. The scars won't beautify this man. Why are you doing all this? The question is asked in an astonishingly serious tone. He's driving me crazy. Even more than that clown from earlier, it seems. I just want to help. Why? David is confused. In his system of beliefs, actions always equals benefit. I'm throwing a wrench into this flawless, long-running mechanism. I can't watch someone suffer. Wow, God bless your noble hearts. He shifts awkwardly. Clearly he's uncomfortable and unaccustomed to being the object of compassion. So he immediately hides behind yet another sarcastic comment. But what can I do? I feel sorry for every little kitten on the street. Sometimes I even feel sorry for especially large, nasty, troublesome kittens. It must be tough living with someone like that, huh? I bet you have 40 cats living in your apartment, and all of them are strays. David reads me like an open book. It's amazing that he can even read at all. Was that shade? What? Don't shade Daddy. I'm sure he can read. Most of the time, help isn't altruistic. People always want something in return, money, a favor, for you to take them off the hook. Helping people for no reason is like throwing shit against the wind. Alright, moving on. Screw this. I honestly don't care what's going on in your head. This is the most unconvincing lie I've ever had in my life. He clears his throat. Thank you. What? Am I hearing things? I thought you didn't know such words. I'm even afraid to breathe so I don't scare off this rare exotic display of politeness. He says that word as if he's pronouncing it for the first time in his life. I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually the case. Just a couple more seconds and he's back in front of the counter. So the client is fed, clean and healed, and yet he's still here, not putting any money on the counter, and the tip jar is lacking. I look at him. He's supposed to be full of energy, but instead he looks lost. David is deep in thought in that dark, gloomy little place that occupies his mind. Can I do anything else for you, sir? This seemingly simple question stumps him. David frowns and looks past me for a while before responding. Yeah, you can do something. I'm curious about one thing. I haven't talked to a regular human in a long time. I wonder by regular human, does he mean my extremely natural essence? I'm no vampire, werewolf, or thieving gnome. Or does he mean my lack of a criminal record and absence of drug or alcohol dependency? Or maybe he's looking for the perspective of an ordinary worker, a working class person, a grey collar. Does your face always look that funny when you're thinking about something? I don't even get a chance to respond to his job before he follows up. Let's conduct an experiment. Suppose you are now a free vampire, able to go wherever you want, do whatever you want. Where would you go? David looks at me expectantly. I'm ready to tell you my decision. Excellent. He leans a little closer when suddenly... That's a wolf howling. I don't even have time to blink before David vanishes. Now he's a little bat hiding behind the counter. Listen up, don't say anything about me. Sit tight and behave or you'll feel incredibly shitty. Trust me, if you rat me out to that mat, I'll find a way to get out and twist your head off. The threat in his voice is completely lacking, mostly because this voice now comes from a very small, though angry bat. Werewolf. A werewolf is about to come here now. The creature steps inside. Oh, you're so cute! Good evening, ma'am. A low rumbling bass, surprisingly calm and friendly. Can I pet you? Ma'am? I am not sure I understand you correctly. You want to pet me? He awkwardly shifts from paw to paw. That's very unexpected and of course flattering, ma'am. Don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of on duty, tracking the supernatural. He looks around nervously. All right, you can, but just a little. I still have important business. Oh, you're such a good boy. I reach out and pet him. The fur is warm and soft, thick. I immediately feel a low vibration. The werewolf is quietly, silently purring. At first, it's a barely noticeable movement. But then his short, fluffy tail starts to wag slowly but confidently from side to side. He's a good boy, a very, very big but good boy. He deserves praise. I'm the Princess Mononoke of this gas station. Although David doesn't seem thrilled, I pull my hand back. He looks so ugly as a bat, yuck. Oh, it's giving me the ick. Thank you, Mom. It's been a while since I've been. Anyway, thank you. So getting back to the purpose of my visit. Apologies for this sudden intrusion. Edward, you can just call me Eddie. We're chasing down a certain pest. You haven't seen a vampire around here by chance, have you? You know, young, a bit scruffy, wearing a leather jacket. You see, here's the story. One of our packs nearly took out a vampire sire and his offspring a few hours ago. It was a tough battle. We suffered losses. We tried to track them and found one of them, well, more like a pile of ash where he once lay. It seems one bloodsucker offed the other. When he was weakened, their family values are quite lacking. It seems patricide has occurred. David didn't tell me anything about it. Probably that's why he had all those questions about vampirism. He was trying to get advice on where to go next after killing his creator, but in a completely idiotic way. You see, Mom, vampires are parasites on the body of our society. They drink blood like mosquitoes, but unlike mosquitoes, they kill their victims by draining them dry. They languish in boredom with their immortality and thus destroy human destinies. Play with them, torment them, and derive a semblance of pleasure from their suffering. They are devoid of true feelings. I look at David, devoid of any feelings. He's shaking all over. So I will be extremely grateful for any help. Don't give David away. That bastard threatened me 5 minutes ago, but now he's small, trembling, and helpless. He's my bastard. I force a smile and say I haven't seen anything. A quiet, peaceful night. Eddie examines me closely. He's probably catching a faint scent of blood, but my calm demeanor throws him off. Strange. Well, okay. If he shows up, just give a whistle. We won't be far away from here. Good night, Mom. The werewolf goes off to his important wolf business. David crawls out of his hiding spot. You could have turned me in. He stares into my eyes as if trying to peer into my soul and understand what it's made of. And that would have been the sensible decision. But I'm glad you're not one of those sensible ones. David says this with genuine relief in his voice. He's grateful to me and now doesn't quite know what to do with that gratitude. He clears his throat awkwardly. So what's the answer to my question? What will you do if you are a vampire? His gaze reminds me of a lost fighting dog. Without a master, he's restless and can't find his place. What an advisor he picked. May the Lord help him. I'd take everything life has to offer. Travel, entertainment, new experiences. The world is full of wonders, and when you're immortal, all doors are open to you. He chuckles. Oh, still waters run deep and all that. Pity the road of adventure led you to a stinky gas station. Maybe you're right. The world isn't limited to this lousy town. He says this quietly, almost to himself, looking out the window at the dark, empty highway. As if he's just remembered there's something beyond his cage of alleyways and gangland showdowns. Here for future adventures. He gave me money. David says goodbye and leaves. The gas station sinks into absolute silence. Well, that was quite an interesting encounter. I really could have turned him in, but I didn't want to. I don't even know what's worse, this or the offer to go home in a bone carriage. Though something tells me that if I accept, I might not return home at all. I survived another visitor. It seems I'm starting to get used to this job. Wiping off the sticky residue, hoping it was just spilled soda from the counter, I suddenly heard the crunch of gravel outside. Hooves? The devil? This is definitely not another vampire. The stranger leans against the counter, trying to look casual, but the way his tail twitches betrays his nervous tension. Hi, he clears his throat. Hello, babe, my name is Viktor. Aren't your parents pirates by any chance? No, sir, my parents are not pirates. I can almost read it in his eyes. I've practiced this so many times and I'm still stumbling. He breathes in fits and starts and forces a nervous, trembling smile. It's very surprising that they aren't pirates, because they're a real gem, miss. You illuminate this dirty gas station with your glow. I mean, you clean it very well. This is not a complaint to you. It's just, forget it, you're a gem. Let's leave it at that. Oh my god, he's so awkward. Awkwardly smile in response to encourage him. I give him a light, hesitant smile. It's a bit awkward, a bit forced, but undoubtedly encouraging. Viktor awkwardly smiles back, wagging his tail a little. He's incredibly happy that he didn't start an exorcism ritual. Didn't call security though, there's probably none anyway. Or worst of all, the security of this establishment is my responsibility. Then his smile gradually fades, and he looks away nervously. May I ask a question? His face is burning. Viktor takes another deep, frantic breath. His stomach is growling so horribly. I hope the guy is okay. Is it really that bad? I mean, is my flirting technique really that terrible? Awkwardness is a great style. I liked it. This might be the best compliment he's ever had in his life. Probably the only one. You liked it? His voice mixes surprise, disbelief, and a shy glimmer of joy. I'm glad you like awkwardness because I have plenty of it. You probably noticed. Right off the bat, is it really written on my face? Actually, I initially chose this tactic to charm your miss. Of course, everything went according to plan. He coughs shyly and mumbles something to himself. Then he shifts his gaze back to me. Actually, miss, I'm here to acquire. He doesn't get to finish. We have a visitor. She stands next to the counter, clicking her mandibles impatiently. 2 packs of Brapsy and a pack of screaming cheese and a bag of fairy fingers, darling. By the way, your gas attendant is a real sweetheart. It's frightening to imagine what my invisible colleague looks like. He hasn't even bothered to say hello. And hurry up, I need to rush. I have a lot of work waiting for me today. Yuck, I hate bugs. And this one can talk. Ew, what is this spray? I'm starting to pack the order. At the same time, this incubus awkwardly tries to hit on the lady, and I thought we had something special. Apparently, the failed Casanova decided to try his luck on a new victim. Wow, you seem so busy and cool, Mom, and you must have a very wonderful job. She starts clicking her mandibles energetically, producing a buzzing sound that vaguely resembles laughter. Wonderful, oh yes, wonderful. Wonderful for those who don't like to eat, sleep, or see their children grow. Really the best job in all 9 worlds. Speaking of children, Victor barely recovers from her sarcasm when the lady immediately pulls a wallet out of her bag and unfolds it. Over and over again, it seemed endless. This is Gogo, he has his father's mandibles. Victor gazes into the abyss and the abyss gazes back, revealing baby pictures. The seduction attempt has failed again. Like any mother, Lady Mantis loved her children and considered it her sacred duty to tell every passing incubus about them. This is Gogo, he's in his rebel phase right now. He pierced his mandibles. Can you imagine? He makes such a racket when he eats. The image of a lover in a biker jacket makes me snort and reminds me of David. And this is Gigi and Gaga. They're still lava. Lava? But already so talented. What talents can lava have? They just lie there and eat. I do too though. Wait. Don't think about that. You have very beautiful children, Mom. All 20 of them, incredibly cute. That's just the first wallet. Help him, hand the lady her order. Oh, I got a bit carried away. I really am in a hurry. Here, your money, darling. Victor watches her disappear into the night, then turns to me with a grateful look. Thank you, miss. I couldn't handle 20 more kids, to be honest. I already broke down at the 8th, and I thought looking after a cat was hard. The lady left very little in tips. Probably all her money went to her children. Victor suddenly remembers he came here to buy something. However, my visitors rarely recall that. I need a book. Victor scans my stinking supernatural realm of discount rot and chocolate bars. It's a guide for, succubi and incubi. I can't remember what it's called, but I've definitely heard something about it. Could you take a look? It's definitely not for me. It's for my less experienced friend because employee of the month in my layer. He didn't specify whether he was the worst or the best employee of the month. Well, life force harvesting for dummies or something like that. I hear him mumbling quietly to himself. Such a shame. I should have just stayed home and watched Evangelion for the 10th time. I'm heading to the storage room. Just a few hours before I was rushing around here looking for blood for a very hungry monster. Now all these vials, eyes and tentacles seem less ominous. A gigantic dead moth lies on top of one of the boxes. Or perhaps it's just very tired. I'm rummaging through the book section, deep in between baboon metaphysics and limits of patience of your dead servants. I find the desired volume. I come back from the storage room holding this forbidden mind-bending treatise titled Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Demons and Everything You Didn't Want to Know About Them. Wow, this is definitely better than those PDF guides from various sites for... never mind, who? Clearly not for the whole family. Let's study it. Yes, it will be very unusual if you just paid me, tipped me and moved along. I expect too much from this life. But in fact, this will be an entertaining educational lesson. It certainly won't be unnecessary. And the guy looks like those pictures are enough to make him faint. The sooner this is over, the sooner I can send him on his way. We find a cozy spot next to the counter. I pull the grimoire close. I open the book and the pages, yellowed and brittle with age, release a cloud of dust and indecent, horrifying desires. Incubi, the nature of the tempting rogue, hooves of desire. Tempting rogues? Oh, that's me, yes, definitely me. Hooves are just like mine, you have no idea how awful they clop, especially on tiles. When you sneak to the fridge at night, the whole house wakes up with you, and everyone thinks there's a big, clumsy cow living in your apartment. Oh, you're right. All incubi really are purple. I thought my skin color was just some kind of coincidence. You know, like when you create a character in a video game and just spin the color wheel until you stumble upon something weird. He gives me a cautious look, as if not entirely sure about the coolness of his purple hue. I love the color purple, too bad I'm not purple. His face immediately brightens with a smile. Yeah, well, I think it's pretty cool too. It's nice to know you like my, what's it called? Demonic phenotype? Victor turns his attention back to the book and runs his clawed finger down the lines. Incubi, appreciators of the vibrant hues of the soul, they draw power not from blood or life force, but from the pure, potent energy of mortal emotions. And although a refined bouquet of positive emotions is the preferred ambrosia, ambrosia? What a fancy word. A practitioner can also sustain themselves with more coarse, fickle energies of negativity. Despair, horror, and humiliation provide a quick, albeit unpleasant rush of power. It's no wonder that now, after an argument with someone in the comments, I feel like I've eaten a few raisins. Judging by the expression on his face, he clearly isn't cut out for horrors and humiliations. His limit is probably arguing on fortune. Also a kind of source of horrors and humiliations, but still, it's a bit different. An incubus can, albeit less effectively, form a symbiotic connection by feeding off a single consenting mortal vessel. The mortal vessel in turn can absorb some of the power from the incubus, among other things, their immortality. Wow, sounds like a decent deal. I certainly always have plenty of emotions, mostly hatred for the fact that to earn money you have to work. A whole mountain of raisins for Victor, or whatever he called it. What a relief, just one person. The thought of having to chase after a whole bunch of strangers makes me feel sick. But I love communicating, well, sometimes. Strangers are the scariest thing right after rent. Yeah, I totally understand you. It's probably even harder to deal with clans like me. Communication is already a horror show in itself, and then you add literal horror with vampires and ghosts, just a nightmare. He really looks at me with sympathy. He feels sorry for me. I don't even know how to react to that. Trying to understand what people want from you is quite the challenge. It's like trying to play a game with its rules changing every 5 seconds. And someone has turned off your screen and you're paralyzed. Basically, yeah, I completely get you. Victor flips through the grimoire reading the chapter titles. Techniques of rogue seduction, juicy emotional juices, using lascivious energies for thaumaturgical purposes. I don't even want to know. I just want to not starve without energy and maybe pay my rent. I don't need to be the lusty cousin of Doctor Strange. His finger finally jabs at a random chapter title somewhere in the middle. Love letters. It seems completely and irrevocably outdated, especially that part about carrier pigeon colors. Love letters? Who writes love letters anymore? This should apply to text messages now, right? But this is a good start. Let's work on this before moving on to more complex seduction methods. He pulls out a pen from somewhere, a cheap ballpoint with a little anime cut charm on the end. I hand him a grease-stained napkin, like everything in this rotten place. The book says to convey a aching adoration and a hint of forbidden desire. Victor starts scribbling something on the napkin. Maybe something like this. This conveys aching adoration perfectly. I like it. Really, you think so? Thanks. I mean, it's obviously a silly picture, but it has a lot of layers of meaning, you know? It's like it's saying, I'm just a humble being unworthy of your gaze, but I'm supported only by crumbs of your attention. Victor continues to flip through the book, recognizing the desires of the vessel. He scans the first few lines of text. It's all about observing subtle hints, interpreting body language, and engaging in candid conversations to uncover the special nature of mortal carnal desires. He glances at me. What does Vessel Rye want? The vessel wants a simple human sofa and cuddles on it. Oh great, and pizza, right? Well, what I really want is money. But I'm not gonna say that. In his eyes is genuine sympathy and an understanding of every delicate string of my unfortunate lonely soul. That's honestly quite a simple desire. I think if the criteria for the second person on the couch aren't too strict, I could easily help. Though sometimes I comment too loudly on what's happening on screen, I hope that's not too much of a problem. Sometimes you just can't help but make a stupid comment 10, 20 in 5 minutes, especially when you know some facts about the movie. We continue to study this villainous seduction manual, the art of verbal seduction and slippery flattery. To his surprise, Victor finds no mention of the fact that pirate compliments work on living people. We examine the first paragraph where words are labeled as keys to the treasure chest of the heart, and flattery is described as a powerful aphrodisiac for the ego. It's all very dramatic, but the main idea is quite simple. Say nice things, don't say unpleasant things. This is definitely outdated. If I tell someone that his eyes are double gateways to the champs, Ellie says, I'll definitely get sprayed with pepper. And this good lord, when I kiss you I tremble like a paralyzed beggar? How is that even supposed to work? No, that's too much even for me. Victor clears his throat. His gaze slides over me, trying to latch onto something particularly attractive about my appearance. You have very elegant ear shape. Thank you, Victor. No problem, they really are. They have a very elegant curve. Aesthetically pleasing, 11 out of 10 on the ear attractiveness scale. Ears on my head are an 11 out of 10. Will there ever be a happier day in my life? He takes a deep breath, gathering his courage for another compliment. Actually, you seem so calm and collected. You remain polite no matter what. Patient. That's an incredibly rare phenomenon, especially in a place like this. You have to be incredibly strong to stay so cool under such pressure. This person was struck down by ordinary basic politeness. That says a lot about our society. Smile, that wasn't bad. He smiles gently in response. Despite everything, he starts to relax. He's probably beginning to feel more comfortable around me. I would have never thought a monster would have to struggle with discomfort from interacting with a mortal soul and not the other way around. Another chapter. How to be a mirror. I didn't know we could change. Oh, it's metaphorical. The text describes the principle of mirroring, subtly borrowing mannerisms, speech patterns, and even expressed opinions of the victim to create a sense of closeness and understanding. The path of least resistance to gaining mortal attachment. Oh no, what about all that stuff about just be yourself and everything will work out? My mom lied to me, didn't she? With similar interests? What do ordinary people like? Football and the weather? Definitely not anime and Dark Souls. Discussing the brilliant soundtrack of Silent Hill with people is a bad idea, that's for sure. Alright, practice. The book says that practice is the key to success. Victor lifts his gaze to me. Play along with me, please, like we just met. Beautiful mortal soul, I have appeared to you in half dreams so many times, but I finally decided to find you. I won't let you go so easily again. Even though the words aren't the most elegant, there's something supernatural about them. I still begin to feel a pull. A shiver runs down my spine. Give in to the feeling. He moves closer. His movements suddenly become smooth and eerily graceful. The words this creature now speaks bypass my mind and penetrate straight into some primal parts of my brain. I play along, but part of me realizes this isn't entirely a game. I'm a mortal being and he's a demon from hell who came for my wretched soul. I know this is dangerous, mortal, that it's wrong. It's forbidden fruit. Oh, I like forbidden fruit. Give me more. But doesn't that make it all the sweeter? Oh no, the last remnants of reason within me protest. Oh yes, everything else replies. I lean into him with my whole body, eager to hear the last forbidden, incredibly sensual. Ow! Damn it, my leg just cramped. Victor, you ruined the moment! The resonant hum abruptly cuts off. We're back in that little gas station. Sorry, I couldn't hold that seductive pose for more than 10 minutes, but it seemed like we were doing pretty well, right? What even was that thing? He's flipping through the treatise, a bit longer before letting out a sigh. His stomach growls again. It seems he could use an emotional snack. I think we've covered all the important stuff. I suppose it's time to wrap things up. He starts to rise from the floor. Wait, how did it happen that no one explained anything to you? Even I had a briefing. A 2-minute one. I'll tell you, but promise you won't laugh. I promise. Relief washes over his face. Yes, wonderful. I accidentally sold my soul on the dark net. He holds a dramatic pause. Go on. What an idiot I was. I dropped out of college back then because of constant stress, moved into a tiny dump, and barely left my apartment. I was scraping by with some freelance work. I talked, well, sometimes I chatted with various anonymous folks from 4chan, people without names, gender, age. And then I stumbled upon a stupid ad. What did I have to lose? Definitely not a demon 7566. In the chat offered me a chance to escape loneliness. Later, after I turned into this creature, he told me he did it for the laughs. He left no instructions, just wrote, "Get good," in the chat, and deleted all contacts. He was curious to see if I could handle it. His chance to escape loneliness turned out to be putting me in an incredibly deadly situation. He lifts his eyes to me. This memory is a fresh wound for him. Before I can even respond, he jumps up from the floor. But I've already wasted enough of your time. He clops his way to the counter. Tip me. Well, to be honest, I didn't really understand much. These chapters are so strange. He lets out a quiet chuckle. But you know what? It was great. I haven't had this much fun in a while. I think I even ate properly, finally. Positive energy, I mean. Thanks for the lunch. I'm not sure if I need to pay for that too, but I'll leave some money just in case. His tail twitches awkwardly. I haven't really interacted with people since college killed my will to live. It felt strange not to feel like such an idiot around someone. Thank you very much. Woo! Tip jar is filled. He tosses some money into the jar, then takes a deep breath and adds, and maybe someday we could, well, hang out together. Not as a lesson, just play some silly games like friends. Why not as friends? We could make it a date. Wiggle eyebrows. A date? His tail starts wagging wildly, knocking over 3 bags of chips, a can of soda, and a bottle of gloomy tea. I mean, of course I'm ready. He struggles to rein in the flow of enthusiasm and takes a frantic breath. See you then. Goodbye. Good luck with your shift. It was nice to meet you. The gas station returned to silence, broken only by the hum of refrigerators and my own 2 loud thoughts. So a crazy god, a vampire thug, and a shy incubus walk into a gas station. Sounds like a start of a really bad joke. My life is now a joke. Just great. I just wanted to pay my bills. I didn't sign up for interdimensional quarrels and therapy sessions for the undead. But on the other hand, I wasn't eaten, and I wasn't turned into a piece of furniture by the standards of this night. That's a resounding success. I cautiously glanced at the door to Bob's office. There was a low guttural humming like a giant, disgruntled computer tower was working inside. The clock on the wall indicated it was the end of my shift. With a heavy sigh of relief, I began closing up the place. Finally, I walked to the front door, inserted the key into the lock, and was about to turn it when suddenly... Organism! I jumped in place, nearly dropping everything. Organism, your performance has exceeded all my algorithmic predictions by 47.3%. You're not just an organism, you're an efficient, flawless machine for generating currency. I am feeling an emotion your kind describe as managerial pride. If you keep up the good work, the possibility of receiving a 25-cent bonus will become not just hypothetical, but quite real. Go, organism, restore your energy resources, and return for further exploitation. What a relief. He vanished as suddenly as he had appeared, leaving nothing but ringing silence behind. I stood for a few seconds, processing what I'd heard, then I slowly turned the key in the lock. First shift completed. I survived. And now I can do anything, which means... What option should I choose? Shout courage for the queen, call David, call Viktor, return to the store, to Bob. A romantic evening awaits you. Let's see what Bob has in store for us. Oh no, Mr. Manager, we're not saying goodbye just yet. I head back to the gas station and push open the Doty's office. What is that pose? Oh my god, Bob. You're my favorite in this game. In the middle of the room, buried under folders and invoices, stood a gigantic, ridiculous canopy bed, and on it, surrounded by rose petals, reclined Bob. Or rather, he wasn't just lying there, he was posing. One tentacle coyly supported his spherical body where a human's chin would be. Others were elegantly draped over the silk sheets. His numerous eyes blinked slowly, focusing on me. Ah, organism, I wasn't expecting you so soon. His voice has always boomed in my head, but now it had sultry undertones. But since you're here, one tentacle slowly seductively beckoned me forward. I proposed we spend the evening in romantic engagement. We'll study void bee bouquet and closure schemes. I took a step into the office and slowly closed the door behind me. Let's see, courage for the queen. The words escaped my lips before I could think them through. I shouted into the void, expecting at best an echo. But the void answered. From around the corner with a quiet clatter of hooves on asphalt, it appeared. A carriage crafted from bones polished to a shine, drawn by a pair of horses woven from pure shadows. The carriage door swung open by itself, inviting me inside. How mysterious. I stepped over the threshold, and the world spun into a kaleidoscope of mud colors and sentient frogs. When the whirlwind subsided, I felt myself falling, but instead of a hard landing, I found myself in someone's embrace. Oh, wow! Wow! Oh, he looks good. I knew you would come, my dear. Deiran's voice was velvety and sly. I looked down and realized that my t-shirt and jeans had been replaced by some elegant attire. How old-fashioned of him. The kingdom missed you so much. Every crooked spire of this castle longed for your silhouette. Every mad courtier whispered your name, hoping you would return and bring even more chaos to our usual chaos. He looked into my eyes, and his gaze was a mix of madness, adoration, and the promise of the most unpredictable eternity. I will give you everything. How about a pet? I can bring you the most beautiful griffin, or better yet, two, so they won't be bored when I take you for rides around our lands. If one won't bores you, we'll have three, or I could get a few garden gnomes, and I'm getting ahead of myself. Let it be a surprise. Oh! Yes, choose royalty. Let's choose the rich guy. He pulls me closer by the waist. His lips almost touch the shell of my ear as he speaks the next words. You will never be sad again. From this moment, sadness for you is just a word in a foreign language, my dear. My queen. Ah! I'm a queen? Where are my royal subjects? I want to rule. And all it took was one night shift at a gas station. Call Viktor. Let's see Viktor. Viktor promises to come faster than the wind. True to his word, when his car pulls into the parking lot, he nearly knocks over a trash bin. My bad. It's an old, well-maintained car, clearly inherited from his grandfather. Inside it's warm and smells nice. His apartment is exactly as I imagined, a bit cluttered but cozy. And soon I get humiliated by the very first boss. Viktor sitting next to me laughs. It's not that you're bad at this, as you say, it's just that I'm a nerd with a whole lot of free time. His fingers glide effortlessly over the buttons. I felt at ease. For the first time in a long while, no fear, no tension, just two people playing video games. Rest my head on his shoulder. He freezes for a second, then a blush appears on his violet cheeks. He coughs awkwardly but doesn't pull away. Instead, he gently leans his head towards mine. You've made me so happy in just one evening, and I'll do everything I can to make you happy. I close my eyes, listening to the quiet clicking of buttons. An incubus partner. My partner is an incubus, and he's better at souls like games than I am for now. Something very interesting is definitely happening with my life. Call David! Maybe it was a bad idea, or maybe it was my best one yet. The creature on the other end informs me in a raspy voice that he'll be here in 10 minutes. And sure enough, soon the roar of a motorcycle shatters the silence of the night. A battered but powerful bike pulls up next to me. Come on, move your ass, sunrise is soon. Oh my god! This is so romantic! His voice sounds gentle. I move my ass and climb onto the seat behind him, wrapping my arms around his waist. He lets out a satisfied sigh. And by the way, enjoy today's sunrise when you can. I freeze. I know exactly what he means. This could be my last sunrise as a human. He's gonna turn me into a vampire and we're gonna spend the rest of our lives being vampires. Ah! Choose David. I want to choose David. Maybe I want to become a vampire or maybe not. Either way, we're making decisions together now. He slightly turns his head. The surprise in his eyes is replaced by a brief glimmer of respect. He looks at me like a tamed wolf, like an equal. His hand covers mine, resting on his chest, and gently squeezes it. Okay, boss, whatever you say. Yes, daddy, thank you. I'm gonna choose David. I wish you could combine all three of them because they make the perfect man. One is rich, I'm gonna be a queen, the bad boy, David, and the good guy, the nerd. Viktor, combine all three of them. And Bob, combine Bob too, therefore personality. All four of them make the perfect man. Whatever awaits us, eternal wanderings, arguments over who cleans the blood off the dishes today, and the necessity of pretending to be our own descendants, we'll face it together. The motorcycle roars and heads out onto the highway. Well, if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. As for now, entertain yourself with my other videos.